Okay, that meeting is adjourned, and now we will call to order our combined study session and regular school board meeting for Tuesday, December 3rd. And I need to ask you all to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Now we need to do a roll call of those present for the combined study session and regular board meeting.
Mr. Caleri. Here. Mrs. Cerrucci.
Here.
Mrs. Delaney.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Gottman.
Here.
Mr. McIntyre.
Here.
Mr. Ritter.
Here.
Mrs. Warning.
Here.
And Mr. Williams, I believe, is absent at this point.
Did anybody sign up to speak on agenda items, Mrs. Isha?
No one signed up, no.
Okay, and is Mr. Bernardi here from the Marlins by any chance? I would like to give you the opportunity to speak, so you don't have to wait till the end of the meeting if you would like to. There's no microphone. Where's our microphone? Mr. Brown? Ah.
Just kind of use mine. Oh, there it goes.
All right, I'll just hold it.
That's fine.
That'll work.
Hi, my name is Brody Bernardi from the Minerva Marlin swim team, and I wanted to come before you and read a statement from the team. After a recent event, we felt it was appropriate to appear here to formally thank the school board. We are a 100-member swim team, and Gateway's pool is our home pool. We practice there nearly every evening from September till May and have hosted numerous dual meets at our pool over the years. A few weekends ago, we hosted our first ever USA Swimming sanctioned swim meet. This is a large meet with 18 teams and 330 athletes from around the region participating. Over the last few years, we've been building toward hosting a meet like this, and after initially not getting a bid, a different meet was going to be canceled, so they turned to us to try to host the canceled meet in a short span of time. We jumped at the chance, and after a few conversations with Bob Brown, we had the facilities reserved and the meet was a go. It turned out to be a great success, not only for the Marlins, but also for Gateway. The feedback from the other teams and the USA officiating crew was awesome. Many of them didn't even know Gateway had such a nice facility, but everyone who commented was overly positive and think that the Marlins should be hosting more USA meets at Gateway's facility. The Minerva Marlins appreciates the partnership we have with Gateway, and your facilities crew from Mr. Brown and Mr. Halebachek to Eric and Anna, the custodians, are all great to work with. In addition, from the sales from the concession stand, we are proud to be giving back. At the request of Gators coach Sherry, we have ordered some training aids that she wanted to help the Gators at practice. We also ordered 2 new lifeguard tubes for the pool in the Gators team colors, as well as a part needed to finish repairing the lane lines. So again, thank you Gateway from the Minerva Marlin swim team. We hope to continue hosting meets like this, and we appreciate the trust you have in our team to use the pool. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much. Did you guys win?
It wasn't like, but the kids did.
Good. Thank you. Okay, Section A, minutes of previously held meetings. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors approves the minutes of the following previously held meetings: our study session November 12th, 2019, and our regular board meeting November 19th, 2019. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second. John.
Second by Mr. Ritter, a motion by Mr. Gottman. Is there any questions or comments on the meeting minutes? Seeing none.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Aye.
Mrs. Delaney.
Aye.
Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mr. Caleri.
Abstain?
Motion carries.
Motion carries. I don't have a Section B, so we will move to Section D, Personnel. Mrs. Crump.
Thank you, Mr. Cerruti. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors accepts and approves the personnel agenda items 1 through 3 as listed in Section D for the combined study session and regular board meeting of Tuesday, December 3rd, 2019. We have 2 leave of absence to present. Under supplemental contracts, we have 23, which are mostly winter supplementals, and 3 volunteers listed for your approval.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Questions for Mrs. Crump?
What are we looking at? Bring me up to speed.
As far as we have 2 leave of absence that have been requested, we have 23 supplementals, which are mostly our winter supplementals, and we have 3 names of volunteers being presented.
Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Delaney.
Aye.
Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mr. Caleri.
Aye.
Mrs. Cerruti.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the short list.
Okay.
I know.
Section F. Administrative resolutions. Dr. Short.
Refer to Dr. Rossi.
Thank you, Dr. Short. Mrs. Cerruti, we do have an item that we'd like to add as a time-sensitive nature. It would be the to accept Evergreen's participation in Disney's Musical in Schools program. I believe we have to, Bonnie.
Do we have to make a motion to add this item to the agenda?
Can somebody make a motion, please, to add the Disney program to Evergreen?
Rick?
This was a grant.
This was a grant.
Mateo, principal at Evergreen.
One of 4 elementary schools in Allegheny County.
I make a motion to approve the grant for the Disney education.
Okay, so
Roll on.
I second.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Caleri, second by Mrs. Delaney. This was also in our board report.
this vote's going to be to add this item to our agenda.
Yes, we're going to vote to add it to the agenda. This is not a vote to approve it, it's just to add to the agenda.
Mr. Gallagher?
Aye.
Mr. Gottman?
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mr. Caleri?
Aye.
Mrs. Cerruti?
Aye.
Mrs. Delaney?
Aye.
Okay, it's added. Why don't you tell the public a little bit about this? It's kind of exciting.
It is. Mr. Mateo applied for this program, this grant, and what we'll do, it's a teaching artist from Disney, organization of Disney, will come and do several weeks of after-school activities and actually have a rehearsal, dress rehearsal, and put on an actual program, either a 60 or 90-minute musical in late spring. So we're excited about that.
It's awesome.
So we'll go ahead and approve that one. Accept Evergreen's participation in Disney's Musical in Schools program is item number 1. Item number 2 be Kids of Steel running program, approval of the district's participation in the Kids of Steel running program. Currently, University Park is the only one that's completed the orientation, but we're making it available to the other elementary schools as well.
Very good.
For item number 2, we have student teachers that will begin in spring 2020. We have 3 individuals from from California University of Pennsylvania, 2 individuals from Indiana University of Pennsylvania. They will be working in the high school, across the elementary buildings, and also at Moss Side Middle.
All right, I'll finish out. Item number 3, approve the payment of all applicable District Section B1 list of bills by the business manager for the month of December 2019 in accordance with Board Policy Number 616. Please note, the list of bills will be compiled and emailed to the Board for review on December 13th. The Board will have until the close of business on December 19th to review the list of bills and ask any questions regarding the payments. The vendor check payments will then be mailed to the vendors on December 20, 2019. For our new members, this is something we typically do for the months of December and July. And we also, the list of bills will be recognized in the January minutes as well. Item number 4, approve the acceptance of the district's June 30th, 2019 audited financial statements, including supplemental information and the single audit report package as prepared by the district's local auditors, Salem Kosky Axelrod, for the 18-19 fiscal year, and authorize release of the applicable statements and reports as required to the federal, state, and other various oversight agencies prior to December 31st, 2019, and the March 31st, 2020 reporting deadlines. Please note, the audited financial statements will be emailed to the board for review as soon as the document is completed by district's local auditors and prior to formal release by December 31st, 2019, to meet the deadline for a district's bond post-issuance disclosure requirements with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The local auditors will make a formal presentation to the board regarding the results of the audit during one of the scheduled January 2020 board meetings, most likely the January 14th study session meeting. Item number 5, and I won't read the entire resolution, but in summary, this is our annual approval of the general fund budget tax rates not to exceed the index for the 2021 fiscal year. Specifically, this is a requirement of Act 1. This is by no means setting the millage rate. It is by no means finalizing anything. All this does is, in regards to district's 2021 fiscal year index rate of 3.0%, stating that any tax rate that would have to be raised in regards to the general fund budget for 2021 would not exceed 3%. Again, this is just a requirement of Act 1. This permits the district to follow the old, we call the old timeline for our budget, and not to prepare a preliminary budget, since we would, if we had to do that, we would be doing it before the state budget would even be released. So again, something we've done since 2006 when this began. Item number 6, a related item that we always do at the same time with our Act 1 resolution. Approve the advertisement for the following types of bid supplies as applicable for the 2021 fiscal year as listed below. Again, the various categories of supplies. Item number 7, recognize the following district booster clubs and support organizations who have properly submitted applications to the district for the 1920 fiscal year, specifically girls softball, boys wrestling, girls basketball. Please note the above groups do not represent all the district's booster clubs and support organizations for the 1920 fiscal year. Additional booster clubs and support organizations will be presented for approval later in the 1920 fiscal year by season and as they properly submit their complete applications to the district. And finally, accept the following district donations received during the 1920 fiscal year, specifically Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank, perishable and non-perishable foods, Reclamation Church, volunteers and storage. These are for the backpack program, Jennifer Hoffner, University Park Elementary School.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Mr. McIntyre, second by Mr. Gottman for the entire Section F. Is there any questions or comments for discussion?
So on number 4, the audit,
Yes.
what are you asking us to approve?
Due to time scheduling and this being our only meeting and the requirement that we have to have our audit report posted by December 31st, this is a pre-approval of the audit. We've done this previously for that. I do have a draft if anyone would like to see it, even though it has sticky notes in it. I can assure you that it is an unqualified opinion unofficially until they present it next month. And again, that's the highest form of assurance on our audited financial statements. But again, I don't want to steal the auditor's thunder next month when they come in.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Yep, welcome.
Anything else? Roll call, Bonnie.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mr. Caleri.
Aye.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Aye.
Mrs. Delaney.
Aye.
Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. There are no items for Section G unless there are any board members that would like to present a resolution. Seeing none, are there any comments from residents on non-agenda items? Yeah, really quiet, quiet group tonight. Okay. At this time, we'll move on to reports. I would just like to say to our new members, congratulations. And at the end of all of our meetings, we close with board reports and administration reports. So y'all get a chance to address the crowd or anything that's of importance to you or relevance, anything on your committees, which will be determined at a later date. I would just like to open by congratulating all of our new school board members. I think we have a phenomenal group of people, and I look forward to working with everyone. And I also would like to say that this is a new term, and I think that we need to all move forward for the good of the community and the school district. And I hope that we can all work together for the good of all of our goals and put some of the things that have been hindrances behind us as we move forward. So, Mr. Clary, I get to go to you next.
Mrs. Cerrucci's really sick, so I'm not going to talk into that. I'm doing pretty good. I just wanted to thank everybody who voted for me. Whether you voted for me or not, I'm going to do my best. We're going to work hard. I want to thank the board for accepting me onto the board. It was very nice. I got a lot of congratulations, and I think we're all going to work hard, and we're going to do our best for everybody. We're going to do the right thing here, and I look forward to all the challenges. Thank you.
Mrs. Delaney.
I too want to thank everyone who supported and voted for me, and particularly those that encouraged me to take this leap of faith. And many of them are my spiritual friends and advisors that I see out here, and family as well. And I also wanted to, and what I'll probably do as we go to the ends of the meeting, is usually have a quote or something. And I have two. There are two movies out right now, those that are movie buffs like I am. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers movie, and the Harriet Tubman movie. And there are quotes from both of them that I think exemplify what we do as far as freedoms and children. Harriet Tubman. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars, to change the world. That's Harriet Tubman. And I see that in working with all of us here. And from Mr. Fred Rogers, anyone who does anything to help a child in his life is a hero to me. Fred Rogers. Thank you.
Well said. Mr. Gallagher.
Yeah, as Paul and Susan have stated, I appreciate everybody's support. For those that cast a vote for me, I appreciate the trust that you put in me, and I hope to continue to earn that trust. And for those that didn't have the opportunity to vote for me, I hope to earn your trust over the next 4 years. And I also wanted to clarify, we had a conversation, and I was asked what would I like to be called on the school board. My ministry titles are when I'm in the church office. So here I'm just Mr. Gallagher, the school board director. So whenever you hear us referring, and when you hear Bonnie doing the roll call, that's by my choice, to just refer to as Mr. Gallagher. So I appreciate you doing that for me and everybody's understanding.
Mr. Gottman.
Yeah, normally this time I would talk about our wonderful artwork that our students produce. However, tonight our selection is a well-painted wall. So nicely done. But I would like to, I don't really get to talk about our athletics that much, but I do want to send our congratulations to our football team for winning the Whitfield 5A championship. During the game, there was an interesting stat that was displayed on telecast I thought was really cool. In the Whitfield 5A history, and this is looks like dating since 2016, for teams that have played exclusively in 5A, the postseason record Gateway comes in at number 1 with a 44-10 record. The next school, which is number 2, is Penn Trafford, 38-8. So Gateway has performed the best of every 5A team in the division. So it just goes to show you the dedication that our student athletes have, our coaches, and everybody who supports our football team. So congratulations, and with that, happy holidays for everyone. Be safe, and see you next year.
I can't see. We'll finish with you, Dr. Short. Mr. McIntyre?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what Mrs. Cerrucci said and congratulate all the incoming new board members and board members that have been reelected. I agree with Mrs. Cerrucci. I think we have a very strong group of people up here. Everybody here comes from a pretty different background, and there's going to be times where we disagree, and hopefully we can continue to do that amicably and move forward in the best interest of the district. So I look forward to working with all of you again for at least the next 2 years, and I appreciate your support and reelecting me to vice president. So,
Thank you.
that.
Mr. Ritter?
Guys, a warm welcome to the new school board members. Giddy up, here we go. All right, so I'd like to take a minute for my board report, Mrs. Cerrucci, just to give a shout out to all those folks, those staff members, social workers here at Gateway that do nice things for the students over the holiday break. And so I put together a slide set here that just helps open the door for community involvement if you're out there in the community and you know that there are some students with the fathers, who have some troubles. They lost their job. Their kids might be homeless. The washing machine broke. 1,000 things like that could go wrong, and you might want to donate a toy or a gift or a washing machine or who knows what you've got. The trick is finding a way to get what you have and want to do, your goodwill, over to somebody who knows the need. And so this little slide set, if you get your pencil out at home, take a quick look here. Students and families have needs year-round, but specifically during the holiday season, we'd like to try to do something special for their kids. Generally, what happens is the staff members from each of our school buildings, someone steps forward and they volunteer to collect items or meals for certain identified families who might be in need during the holiday season. Val Warning has been, did I get that? Val Warning has been leading a backpack program that helps provide food to needy families. There are coat drives that provide needed warmth during the winter months. There are some local churches, other organizations who adopt certain families and buy gifts during the holiday season. You can also consider partner with local agencies to solicit donations and items to help our families in needs. There's also a shop with a cop. Does anybody know about this, where a cop takes a kid out and they go to Walmart or whatever and they buy something, they go out to McDonald's and have a hamburger, sit down with a kid, great big strong police officer, little kid. I mean, this really lets the child know it's not just a gift, it's a person behind the gift. So if you see a cop, pat him on the head, pat him on the back, and let them know that this shop with a cop thing really helps our kids. Other donations that might come from the community, if you've got something, go ahead and find a way to give it to our social worker staff here, and I've got the numbers up on the screen, Michelle Mocker and Aaron Smith. I'll say it out loud, 412-713-6574 is for Michelle. Aaron's is 412-463-8624. So if you have something to give, now's a good time to do it. It takes a little bit of a lead time for folks to find these kids and get them to it. So please, remember when you were young and you were hoping for a Christmas gift, and there were times when all you had to eat were potatoes. And then a little gift came, just a little box, a little something. It meant a whole lot. It doesn't have to be expensive. Find something, put a ribbon on it, and get it to a kid. Okay? Thanks very kindly.
Thank you, Mr. Ritter. Mrs. Warning?
Yes, thank you. First off, congratulations to all our new board members, and welcome back to the old board members. Looking forward to another 4 years. It's hard to believe 4 years has passed, but hopefully we get some good things done. To our football team. The Whitfield Championship game was a little wet, but there was a very good crowd from Gateway. We really appreciate everything the coaches and the kids did. Friday up at Altoona, another good showing from Gateway there. It didn't come out as we had hoped, but the kids gave it all. A lot of bad calls, those refs, bad calls, but anyhow. But congratulations to that team. They worked hard all year. A lot of solid kids that just put their mind to everything, and thanks to the coaching staff. Check the athletic website for all the upcoming sports for the winter. Everything will be listed when and where they will be playing. Just a little thing off from Mr. Ritter. I'm involved with the backpack program. I'm not head steering it. That's Ms. Hoffner and the staff over at UP. I'm just doing the legwork because they have their hands tied with everything they need done. But on behalf of the students and the staff at Gateway, specifically University Park and the elementary schools, I just want to take the time to thank the Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank as well as Reclamation Church for their continued support of the backpack program. To date, the Pittsburgh Food Bank has donated over 2,500 pounds of food that has been no cost to us and has been distributed to our students and families that are in need. Thank you for your commitment to our community and mostly important to our students and our children. It's because of organizations like you that the program, this backpack program, has been able to support our families of Monroeville and Pitcairn. The backpack program will continue to support our families, most vulnerable, focused on making food accessible for those who are in need. And sometimes the kids just don't need a package to open. Sometimes they just need for their parents, their guardians, to say how much you appreciate them. It goes a long way. It's something that they will always remember. And on that, happy holidays to everybody, and that is my report for tonight.
Could I steal the mic just in case any of the school board members, you have a favorite program, Scott, Susan, you know of somebody you want to name? I'd like to toss it to Heather right now. Heather, do you know of anything that I overlooked as we tried to thank the staff and the social workers here? Heather's the Director of Student Services here.
Yes, I think that you've pretty much covered it. I know that our social workers and guidance counselors do work with all the staff in the buildings, and some of the buildings do some individual things, as you've mentioned here.
Very good. Any favorite programs you want to announce, guys? Very good. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Ritter. Dr. Stewart?
I'd like to officially welcome our new board members. It's an exciting opportunity, and it's exciting times at Gateway. No doubt public education has a lot of challenges, very complex system. However, we as a group have the capabilities to make changes, and those can be powerful changes for the number one resource that we have, and that's children. And I think I have known almost everyone here for quite a long time, and I know that behind the microphones and behind everything we do, we do know that children will be at the forefront. So officially welcome on behalf of the Central Administration, students and staff, and look forward to working with you over the next several years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. With that, I seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned. Thank you.